All right, guys, we'll go with questions for Alexa IUWBB and Chris Berger.
It's kind of an obvious starting point that down with 40 down 6 at that point. What's kind of happening at that point? Kind of to spark that confidence.
I mean, I think first and foremost, we're trying to stay calm. You know, the crowd was getting into it. Purdue was obviously getting excited. And there was just a lot of energy in the building really going against us. So I think the veteran leaders, me, Alexa, and Allie Pappard, I think just kind of, you know, calmed everyone down in the huddle. We knew A minute is a long time. They did have a lead, but we knew we had all the pieces to, make shots, get stops, get rebounds, and score the ball and come back. So we just never gave up, no matter how it was looking.
On that one specifically, your older was the over shot for the county. It's kind of continuing to have.
Yeah, we were, trying to. The first look was Alexa, but they kind of clogged up the lane and made it hard for me to get her the ball. So the next play was just to get the ball and do exactly what I did. Coach Rhett drew up a great play, and we were confident whether she got the ball or whether I got a ball, we'd get a good look, we'd make a shot, just go down and get a stop.
The first half, it seemed like you guys were struggling to find your place a little bit for the Western League. It seemed like some of the team could rely on to get your shot. What kind of energy were you bringing in the game?
As Grace said, we all kind of had to step up, and at the end of the day, like I wouldn't have made those shots if Grace wouldn't have drove my defender and kicked it, or Ali the same thing. We just all of us kind of for this game, everybody had to step up, and as a team, we took up that challenge, and it's all about the team.
The offense ran for both of you today. Did you expect that like this whole
I think, me, Alexa, and Allie, I think we expect to have the ball in our hands a lot, especially in close games like this with those two out. Just because, the other kids are younger and just don't have as much experience. Us three have all the experience in the world. So I think coach is just, very confident with the ball in any of our hands.
Sorry, go ahead. Your question.
You kind of touched on this, but what do you call it? Do you take even more responsibility for the team? I know you said you got to step up as leaders. Do you feel any extra motivation to do that? Given with Nicole and Mackenzie out, does it give you extra motivation to really pick up the slack and more so even in another day?
Well, I think we realize that not one person is going to pick up the slack for missing Mackenzie and missing Nikki. Those are two pieces that you just really can't replace. But I think we don't feel any more pressure necessarily because we've seen, the Chloe Moore McNeils, the Grace Wagners, the Keandra Browns, and Caitlin Peterson every single day in practice, and we know what they can do in games. So it maybe changes things a little bit. We might have the ball in our hands a little bit more, but as far as any extra pressure, we're really confident in those kids that come off the bench.
Following up on that, Ryder, at the same time, when these games come back, being such is that impressive?
I wouldn't say really impressive because we're put in these situations during practice a lot of times, and we understand that, as Grace said, as veterans, three of us, we kind of understand that we have something that the plays that coach drew to throw up, we have to do them. We have to stay calm and just be confident in ourselves.
The crowd today was the large 8,500, I think it was. What role did that play, and how were you guys able to block them out and play without sustain?
Obviously a lot of them were against us, so there was a lot of, I think, that gave Purdue a lot of energy. But really it was just exciting to play in that atmosphere, whether they're for you, whether they're against you. See, a turnout for a women's basketball game like that, I think is something that we hope continues and that we, really enjoy playing in front of.
Anything else? All right, thanks, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Indiana head coach Terry Moore will make an opening statement and then take questions.
Well, what a fantastic battle today between these two teams. Want to give Purdue a lot of credit. I mean, they've been playing great. They gave us everything that we could handle, and I thought the crowd was unbelievable. So good for women's basketball. Yeah, I thought it was a game that we got off to a kind of a slow start, struggled a little bit offensively with some of our normal. Allie Patberg, has been so steady for us. She was struggling from the field a little bit. But I thought Alexa Golbe was really big. I thought Grace Berger really showed up third, fourth quarter, especially. As I said to my kids, I mean, they all had to make a play at some point. Whether it was, scoring the ball, get a big defensive stop, Grace Wagner with the steal at the end. We were changing up how we were guarding throughout the 40 minutes, and give our kids credit for their focus. And they were relentless. And as I always say to them, as long as there's time on the clock for us, we're always going to be in the game, because I have a group of people in that locker room that will just not quit. And so again, I thought it was a great game between two really good basketball teams, great for women's basketball, great crowd, and just really happy for obviously my team.
Questions?
Obviously, the fight was there from both teams. So what do you think it says about more players that they were able to fight this hard despite having two players?
It says a ton, again, it says a lot about, as I always say, their character. It says a lot about, how they were raised, and when adversity strikes, they don't get frustrated. They don't feel sorry for themselves. As I mentioned before, after the Nebraska game, they don't blink. They keep their head down, and they try to execute to their best of their ability, what we've taught them and how we practice every day. And so, obviously Mac is a big loss. We didn't realize until Friday that Nikki wasn't going to be available. So, once again, we're scrambling, trying to make adjustments. And Thursday night against Nebraska was an adjustment without Mac. And then today, again, another big adjustment without Nikki. So, give our kids credit again on a day that we didn't score the ball. I don't think at a high level offensively. Didn't seem like we were clicking. I think that had a lot to do with the fact that, two of our normal starters weren't out there. But with that comes the opportunity for some of those guys off the bench to play meaningful minutes, but also to get some real game experience, which I think will really help us down the road.
How would you evaluate Morgan Hill's first start and Powerhouse second start?
Well, again, Chloe, the thing, again, she was obviously hit the two big threes against Nebraska today. I don't know, she hits she's 1 for 7, and she's such a better shooter than that. 4 for 13 from the field, but what she did defensively, I think, to me, is more impressive than her being able to knock down a long ball. What she does give us is somebody that you have to guard, because she can, knock down shots. I thought KB was, I think she's starting to feel a little bit more comfortable in the role that we're giving her, and she came up, but we had to make a few adjustments with her defensively at halftime, but I thought she responded to the challenge, and so give both of those guys who last year, got spot minutes, big opportunity today for both of them. And, they both, I thought, stepped up in a big kind of way, especially on the defensive side.
Ari and I'm going to skip on Zoom.
Obviously she's injected life into the program, Katie Gerald being a new coach this year, but is there any kind of stylistic difference in playing a Katie Gerald team versus the Sharon Burfict team other than the obvious?
No, I don't think so. Both, Sharon I have a lot of respect for her as a coach, and, I'm sure that with over time, I'll grow to have a lot of respect for Katie. Again, I think what she's done is instilled some confidence. I think they're playing a little bit more freer right now. Purdue is, anytime there's a change, there's, there can be, new energy that comes into the program, and that can, that happens, I think, for a lot of teams. But as far as similarities, Sharon ran a lot of stuff. I mean, it would take us, days to go over, a lot of Sharon's nice sets that she always had. But I think Katie will settle in. She's a great addition to the Big Ten. I think this game will forever, be one of the greatest rivalries in college basketball.
Skip, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, congratulations on the win. You mentioned earlier the steal by Grace Wagner with just seconds left in the game. That ultimately led to an inbounds play. Grace Berger inbounded the ball and came around, scored. You guys were up by 1. 8.2 seconds left in regulation. That timeout, what did you tell your team in that huddle with 8.2 seconds left, getting the lead back for the first time in a long time?
Well, first of all, our staff is incredible. And, Coach Wiersbe is sort of our special situation coordinator. And so everything that we do on the sideline, everything we do underneath in those situations, it's by Rhett's design. We knew who we wanted to put the ball, in whose hands. Obviously Grace's, but there were some different options off of that because we knew that Purdue was probably going to realize that that's probably who we were going to end up going to. But Grace just made a play and was able to get us the lead. And so what you talk to him about in that scenario is as soon as the ball goes through the hoop, when we get the lead, we got to sprint back and start protecting the 3-point line and try to pick up, as well as we can. They were really calm though. My guys were really calm in that timeout. I was really proud of the way they reacted or the way they, just did their thing.
Just, before any of that, was there anything that you said or someone else? That's more than that.
No, again, there's time on the clock. They know we have a chance, and we have to get a few stops. We got to obviously get a couple of timely made shots. I think Grace did that. Finally, Allie Patberg hits a 3. Lex hits a big 3 in overtime, and so I don't. Again, they're an experienced team. They know what they have to do, and I just try to, like I said, do my best to cheer them on and keep giving them good juice and. As well as the rest of our staff.
Congrats on the win.
Thank you.
Earlier this season, you said that there was depth lacking in your bench, and obviously with Mac and Nikki out, that's why Chloe and Keandra started. But moving on, into the Big Ten, are we going to see them come off the bench more to kind of increase that depth, like you're talking about?
Yeah, I think it's going to be so helpful. Kate, gets in there today. Grace gets in there today. Both Wags has been out on safety and health protocols, and so it was her first game back. But Kate, there's nobody that wants to use their bench more than we do, and a lot of the times it's what we see in practice and what we know that we can count on in practice. And these kids know that. They're gonna get their playing time will always be dictated about their performance in practice. And I thought again, they both Kate and Grace and all of them have been so engaged the last couple of days, especially when we heard the news of Mac and then Nikki, and so we told them it was going to take all of us, the 10 of us that we're going to come up here and have to step on the floor, and people were going to have to make plays throughout. And like I said, I think you saw that today, with some of the kids that normally get the time, but it's usually in after, we're ahead. So good for those guys who responded. Yeah. Well, I think she's, she has a mixture of emotions. One, she's extremely happy for her team. But also I think that she came down, and I didn't see it, but I was told that she did roll it a little bit. So, your fingers are crossed that we'll get her back to Bloomington tonight and start the rehab and the recovery and all of that. So, but she was certainly happy. I think, what the funny part about Allie is that she was mad. She wanted to go back in, right? Just like she did a couple years ago when she, her shoulder goes out of socket. She still thinks she can play. So, it's a great problem to have, but, we decided that we weren't going to risk anything and keep her out at that point. We felt like we could, the pieces we had on, we could finish the game without her.
All right, thanks.
Thank you, guys.